I was fucking terrified. Are you kidding? You must have known.
No, I'm being ironic.
You
just snorted like a pig.
Was I literally shaking?
No, but I could see that you were really nervous. And also, because we were in Joe's Cafe on Sloane Avenue.
Exactly.
And John Stoddart, the photographer.
Very dashing.
Ex-Guards
officer or something.
Yeah. Fellow Scouser. And he came along. And then Tara Palmer Tompkinson. Do you remember her joining us?
Oh, my God. I do now.
Yeah, so she joined us. And it was just, I think, were we day drinking? We might have been.
Sure we were. It was 1994.
It's likely, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So, yeah. And then when you went to pay the bill, your card got rejected. So I paid.
Did you have to pay? Oh, my God, that's so awful. Because, of course, there was no company credit cards in those days.
Well, I think you said it was the company.
Did I just totally make it up? Do you know what? I seem to remember I absolutely hadn't thought of that before the meal.
Yeah.
Because I'd never done this before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd literally been at Loaded at that point for 7 or 8 weeks. You know, so
right,
I'd never...
So it was early days for
and
you.
then they went, here's the bill. And I'm like, oh, fuck, of course there's a bill. Here's my Abbey National. Hi there, welcome to Unloaded with me, Martin Deeson, the podcast where we talk to people who had an epic 1990s. Today we have the unofficial house model of Loaded magazine, the Mona Lisa of page 3. It's only Kathy Lloyd.
Oh, hi, Martin. Thank
it's
you
so
for
good to
inviting
see
me.
you.
It's lovely to see you.
I mean, I've got to say, right, like this decade, you're not allowed to comment on women's appearances without getting cancelled.
Yeah.
But Unloaded is a cancel-free area.
Yeah.
You look fucking amazing,
Oh,
babe. You
thank
really.
you.
I mean, I haven't
Thank
seen
you.
you for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you
it's a long
haven't
time.
changed.
No, I have, but I feel good, and I'm in a good place and a good space.
I can tell that. You look really happy.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
And honestly, I think there was more change in your appearance between the 1980s when you were discovered and the 1990s.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at some pictures, the big hair in the 80s.
Oh, no, the hair. I'd actually had a really bad perm in the 80s, and it took me like 4 years to grow it out. so by the time the 90s came, and I'd lost my puppy fat.
Yeah.
So I think that was quite transformative.
It was such a big change because I looked at these pictures and like in the 80s, it was that sort of, I suppose it was the sun styling you as well, but that sort of sportswear, big hair, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And then the transition to the 90s when dare I say, the beautiful Kathy Lloyd, who I first met in 1994 emerged, you just blossomed into a woman and you've stayed the same woman ever since, as far as I can see.
Well, I haven't had any surgery yet.
Have you not?
No,
Good for you.
no, I'm too much of a chicken.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a great advert for Not, blimey.
Well, in the 90s, I was very slim and had quite a big chest.
I noticed.
And then a few people did. And
it was in the national newspaper a lot, yes.
Yeah.
That chest.
And then breast augmentations became so popular that everyone was slim.
Yes.
With big boobs.
I'd never thought of that.
Yeah, no, that really, really scuppered it for me. I was not happy, Martin, because I'd gone from one of the very few. Everyone was like normal sized. And then suddenly everyone had huge boobs.
That's I'd never thought that because you were pre that.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, as we know, it went insane, particularly with Katie Price. And so it went absolutely insane.
Yeah. Literally everyone was having implants.
Because you're not short, but you're smaller.
Petite.
Petite, thank you. I actually know exactly how tall you are from my research. You're 5'5", which I
no, I'm not.
You can't trust the internet for anything. How
I'm
tall
5'4".
Oh, because that's ruined my life. Which I was going to say 5'5", only 2 inches shorter than Kate Moss.
3.
Okay.
I'm good at maths.
Yeah, because that was a big thing at the time, right?
Yeah.
In the 90s,
Yeah.
you had to be a catwalk model, a fashion model. You had to be what,
5'8".
5'8".
And Kate Moss, is she 5'7"?
Well, according to the Internet Who Lies, yes.
Yeah. So she was considered really petite, but I mean, she was and is an amazing model.
Oh, she's incredible.
Yeah, she really was.
Have you met her?
No, but I've been around. I've seen her out and about, and she's just incredible. And she looks amazing now.
Yeah.
And she's recently done adverts for Yves Saint Laurent with Chloe Sevigny.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're just incredible.
Well, I interviewed her well, she wouldn't let people interview her, and GQ managed to get an interview with her in the early 2000s. And I must admit, I went thinking, she's not really my type, right? She was doing the waif kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I turned up and I was shocked.
Yeah.
That, I must admit, like you, she has that internal glow lit from within of like really amazing beauty that the camera loves. I'm going to stop this in a minute because I'm embarrassing both of us. But
No, don't. More, please.
Well, anyway, let's get back to the script.
Okay.
So when we first met, I interviewed you for the second ever issue of Loaded magazine, which the issue was June 94. And I was looking back and I was thinking, I think I'm right in saying I'd done like phone chats with people before, but you were the first person I ever sat down with a tape recorder.
You'd never know, Martin.
I was fucking terrified. Are you kidding? You must have known.
No, I'm being ironic. I'm just snorting
straight
like a pig.
Was I literally shaking?
No, but I could see that you were really nervous. And also, because we were in Joe's Cafe on Sloane Avenue.
Exactly.
And John Stoddart, the photographer.
Very dashing. Ex-guards officer or something.
Yeah. Fellow Scouser. And he came along. And then Tara Palmer Tompkinson. Do you remember her joining us?
Oh, my God. I do now.
Yeah, so she joined us. And it was just, I think, were we day drinking? We might have been.
I'm sure we were. It was 1994.
It's likely, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So, yeah. And then when you went to pay the bill, your card got rejected. So I paid.
Did you have to pay? Oh, my God, that's so awful. Because, of course, there was no company credit cards in those days.
Well, I think you said it was the company.
Did I just totally make it up? Do you know what? I seem to remember I absolutely hadn't thought of that before the meal.
Yeah.
Because I'd never done this before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd literally been at Loaded at that point for 7 or 8 weeks. So I'd never.
So it was early days for you.
And then they went, here's the bill. And I'm like, oh, fuck, of course there's a bill. Here's my Abbey National cash point card.
I don't like this
sorry,
reality
sir.
of growing up.
I got you to pay.
Yeah,
so
no,
awful.
that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind.
Wow.
But it was, I thought it was really good fun. And and I think I had a TV show to do later on and I had to sober up before I went on. I'd only had a couple of drinks, but it doesn't take much for me to get drunk anyway. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm feeling much better now.
Good.
So, we were day drinking.
Basically, we started off this podcast by saying I still owe you money, basically, from 31
James
years
Brown,
ago.
I think, owes me money because I don't think I was ever paid for anything from Loaded.
I was wondering about that when you came on tour and so on. Was that a paying gig or did you just do it out of the goodness of your heart?
I can't remember, but it wasn't like work anyway.
No.
Working for Loaded was not work for me, for us.
Speak for yourself.
For you.
For me, it was like work.
You should have had danger money.
Completely hammered.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I don't ever remember any money being agreed, any figures, receiving money. Nothing.
I did think that seemed unlikely. And it was just looking back on all the times. I mean, I found 3 big times you were in Loaded. And it shows the trajectory of the magazine. So that was June 94, the second ever issue.
Yeah.
And, people talk about James's genius as an editor, which is number one, putting you up for interview. I think that's brilliant because no one interviewed Page 3 girls.
No, they didn't.
At the time.
No.
Ever. I mean, was that the first time you'd been interviewed, do you think?
No, I'd done stuff for, do you remember Sky magazine?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Sky, The Mail.
Okay, wasn't so special
a few
for you.
other things. No, but it was I didn't know the magazine. I'd seen who was on the first cover. Was it Gary Oldman on the first cover?
Gary Oldman on the first cover.
Yeah, and then
the
Steve
one
Martin.
you were in. No, Dennis Nielsen. No, hang on, it's not the right. I get the wrong Nielsen. Hang on,
Leslie Nielsen. Yeah.
Very much the wrong Nielsen.
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen, the guy from Airplane.
That's right. Yeah.
Because everyone always goes, "Oh, Loaded." They always put birds on the cover.
Right.
Completely
but
untrue.
They didn't.
Kathy Lloyd in the magazine. Leslie Nielsen on the cover.
Yeah.
So
I think that the second time I did Loaded, I was on the cover, but that was like much later on.
That was December that year, so it's actually quite quick.
Oh, was it?
It was your shoot was so because your John Stoddart shoot I thought was amazing.
Yeah, it was lovely
because I loved it. That was the early days of the magazine.
Yeah.
When basically I mean, fully clothed is not right, but you were in, a slip or, nightwear or whatever you want to call it. And just, it was some of the sexiest stuff I'd ever seen.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Shows that you didn't need to be topless.
Yeah.
To be sexy. And I love that era of the mag.
And also, I had a lot of input with the shoots for Loaded as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I would speak to James about it, and he was very open about, to discussion on things like that. And I suggested he did the pull-out poster.
No way.
Yeah.
Which became an iconic Loaded thing.
That was my idea.
Wow. Because these are not conversations I was privy to. I did not know
Well,
that.
you probably wouldn't admit it. But we were in the Atlantic bar at the time, and he was absolutely smashed. So he probably won't remember I suggested it. But I remember saying to him, how do you feel about a shoot based on Betty Page, the pin-up, 1940s pin-up?
This is the second shoot, which is December, which was by Derek Ridgers.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I didn't really like those pictures at the time. Oh. Derek was lovely, but I didn't like the photographs.
They were very popular.
They were really popular, but they weren't retouched or anything like that.
Right.
And a lot of my work was never retouched. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, everybody else is having it done. Why can't I? And I think I had a bit of a bee in my bonnet about that.
I'm not the right person to say it definitively, but I don't think there was hardly ever retouching at Loaded.
On anyone. Yeah.
People were too busy, or just it was very early days of retouching anyway. That you would basically do it by hand. I think. I mean, it's not my area, but
it was done by hand,
right.
And then it progressed onto computer.
That's amazing because that pull-out poster I saw when I was looking at online as well, which, like I was saying before we started, you have a very small footprint online because it was pre-digital, which, like we both say,
so happy about that.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here now. We'd be so cancelled that even Adam wouldn't talk to us, and he doesn't cancel.
We wouldn't be married. We wouldn't have kids.
No,
nothing.
Exactly. We'd be in the gutter looking at the stars. But that poster is now, people are selling that separate from the issue of the magazine for like quite a lot of money.
I'm going to have to buy one. I actually think I've got one in the attic somewhere. Yeah, I'm sure I have. But, it's not like I pull out pictures of myself and go, oh, I remember, this is wonderful. It's probably somewhere up in the attic. Yeah,
no, I've got like 3 or 4 of each of those issues Loaded that I was on.
Yeah.
And one day there'll be, pension type stuff, and very small pension.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good to show the kids as well.
So talking of all that era, did you see the Loaded documentary that was on telly?
I did.
What did you think?
I'm glad I didn't take part.
Right.
I don't feel that I would have contributed an awful lot to that. And I think how you perceive things at the time, other people are going to see it differently. And also at the end, I think is it Dawn Porter?
Gail Porter.
Gail Porter.
I get that wrong.
I think she, at the end, it became really sad. And I thought, no, it wasn't like that.
It was kind of strange, wasn't it? Because they really focused on what happened to men's mags after Loaded.
Well, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't our era.
Yes.
We were at the forefront of that and not the sort of demise of that. So that I was actually relieved that I didn't take part. And I had reservations in it, and I was talking to my husband and I said, I don't know if, I don't know what the spin on this is going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit concerned. And then I asked a couple of friends, and I asked my godson, who's like 20-something, and he said, was it for the BBC?
It was BBC.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, no, it's funny when you say that.
If it was Channel 4, I think I would have gone with it.
Right, that's interesting. Because I thought we were going to get slated. But I decided to do it because I just thought the magazine was, because of the pre-digital thing, was disappearing from popular culture.
Yeah.
And like within 20 years, no one will really know it ever happened. And it was a massive part of the 90s. So I thought, let's take a risk. And I was relieved because I thought we came out of it quite well. And then it was and then Nuts and Zoo came along. And this is what I felt at the time. It all got a bit horrible. But I can see as a woman being in it, and particularly as a model, they would probably have painted you into that.
And there was no tragedy as far as I'm concerned. There was nothing detrimental or nothing that ever upset me that ever happened at Loaded. Brilliant. And I didn't want anyone to put a spin on it and twist it and turn it into something that it wasn't. And so I'm kind of glad I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But then it was the BBC and I just had a funny feeling. And I was told by young people I was asking if it was Channel 4, yes. But the BBC, no.
That's kind of interesting because there was a big Page 3 documentary on Channel 4 that I missed.
Okay.
And I can't find it online now. What was that like?
I didn't take part in that either. I get asked to do a lot of things, and the only thing I've ever done is you, Martin, today.
On. Seriously?
Yeah, I don't get involved because I don't trust people how they interpret my life.
So how many podcasts have you been on?
I've never even watched one.
None. And have you been interviewed recently in the last 10, 15 years?
I won't do interviews.
Wow.
No, nothing.
Oh, babe, I'm touched. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Just for you.
Well, let's tell a bit more of your Loaded story then. Thank you, Sal. So you became rapidly a star of the magazine.
Yeah,
right? And it was really the only, pretty much, I think the only Page 3 models ever in was you and Jo Guest.
Oh, I love Jo Guest.
Jo was, she was so popular as well. Oh, but do you know where she is now?
No.
I was trying to get hold of her for this and I can't find her.
All I know is that she moved to Brighton.
Oh, right.
And that was literally it.
Right.
Not heard a word since.
So she's out of the industry completely.
Yeah. But I hope she's okay. She was just amazing.
She was sweet.
Wasn't she fun on the Loaded tour?
Oh, she was brilliant on the Loaded tour.
She could drink beers under the table.
She was unreal because she's also petite.
She's smaller than me.
And exactly. Yeah. And she would put it away. The two of you were legends on the Loaded tour.
Oh, it was so much fun.
So that's the next thing that happened. So that I can never remember the dates, but was that 96? So a couple of years in, we did the first big Loaded tour.
Yeah.
Which, what's your memories of that? And I'll tell you my memory in a second.
Alcohol.
Jesus.
Alcohol and mayhem.
Absolutely.
They are the two things that stand out. And how we all, because after every sort of gig, because it was like a concert.
Yeah.
I remember someone saying to me, I can't believe you drink pints of beer. And I went, I've never drunk a pint of beer in my life. They went, well, I watched the Loaded tour and you're carrying a pint. And I went, impossible. Anyway, so I actually found it eventually. And I'm carrying a pint for you because we were walking on stage and you were about to be sick. So you said to me, hold this.
Hold my pint.
Yes. So I walked on holding your pint and you were sick on the stage, but behind us, so no one saw. So I got the blame for that.
Even though this is my podcast, I'm now blushing and thinking, we won't cut this.
And the pint is almost as big as me because I'm very petite, Martin.
God.
And I'm holding on to this pint thinking, has you finished yet? So, yeah.
I fell off the stage somewhere in Nottingham and really hurt myself quite badly. For me, because, as far as magazines, maybe Playboy did in the States in the 70s, but magazines didn't go on tour.
No.
It was another one of James's brilliant ideas because he's, an ex-band manager, music journalist at heart.
And it worked.
So he treated the magazine like a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Made, icons or characters of all of us. Well, my memory is absolute terror. Because
Why?
I'm 30 years younger. Now I'd probably lap it up. But I'm 30 years younger. The idea of going on stage in front of hundreds of people.
They were baying crowds.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
I tell you, my memory is sitting in the dressing room the first night, which might have been Nottingham. I'm not sure. You'll probably remember. Do you remember it was big.
Liverpool.
It was at Liverpool.
Yeah.
So it's your home turf.
Yeah.
Sitting in the dressing room, first of all, I'm getting tanked up because I'm so scared anyway. And you looked at me and you said, Martin, that shirt is a disgrace. Can I iron it for you? So I'm standing there in my vest or whatever, thinking I'm terrified. But on the other hand, Kathy Lloyd is ironing my shirt in the dressing room. Yeah. Life doesn't get much better than this.
I'm still the same.
And we walked on stage and I could hear them in the dressing room shouting, Deeson, Deeson. I was like, what the fuck? That's my name.
Yeah.
What? And then we walked on stage and we thought it would be like a sort of Q&A kind of thing. And it was just guys screaming.
Yeah.
And then you and Jo on stage, I just seem to remember them chucking beer, get your tits out, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. No, it was pretty wild. I remember just watching and it was like baying. How they didn't rush the stage, I do not know.
Yeah. there was a whiff of danger, right? I mean, it was a mob, it was a crowd.
No, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone would actually do that now, today.
I think we had one security guy who I think was Bez's tour manager. I mean, no disrespect to Bez, but it's Bez's tour manager. What's he going to do?
You're better off getting Joe and I to look after you.
With the heels you were wearing, you're going to kick
them. Do serious damage with them.
God.
But no, everyone was very disrespectful. And then also, people were buying us drinks and handing them to you on the stage, and you could drink them in those days. Imagine doing that now.
Yes, because
you could not do that now.
Jesus would have thought.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a more innocent era in such a long way. Exactly.
Completely.
You'd be spiked to fuck. Right?
Yeah, we would be in bits. But I do remember going back to the hotels, because we did stay in nice hotels as well. And we'd sort of like disappear up to our rooms going, I'm not doing it tonight. I just can't, because we'd obviously carry on the party. And we would all be down there within an hour.
And it would go on and on.
And on and on. And then up and at it again
the next day. And then we had to move the next day. I mean, it's like the band on tour.
Yeah.
Was that the one? Did we have a tour bus on that one, or was that a later tour? Because there was one with the proper band tour bus.
I think we did.
Which to me made me realise the hell that bands go through, that you do a gig, you get utterly arseholed.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel quite queasy going down the motorway at 8 miles.
Yeah.
Then you get in a bus, carry on.
We just got on with it.
I just get on with it. A 2-hour sleep. And then you're in a strange town at sort of 11 in the morning.
It was all a bit of a blur.
You go to the pub.
Yeah. I think for me, I just have like snapshots of being on stage, seeing the crowds.
Yeah.
And then back at the hotel.
And I think that was a moment for everyone, really. I think that was when, a kind of very knowing, clever, funny magazine, you realise that actually out in the wider country had become kind of like a terraces kind of thing. That was the vibe, wasn't it?
It really was. And it was really fun because we didn't know who was turning up at the particular locations. So we had Irvine Welsh, and I was very intimidated about meeting him because I thought if he's anything like the characters in his books, who some of them were very disturbing.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I remember reading, I don't know which book it is, but someone was having sex with a watermelon. And I remember thinking, you can have sex with a fruit?
So sheltered. Yeah.
Really sheltered.
He was, it's got to be said as well.
It's just weird, you know? I thought, who is this man? Who's writing this?
Irvine Welsh and his character, I don't think you'll mind me saying this, they were never there, but they were sort of maybe there in the 90s, and now they're much more. I think he's almost like an exorcism. He gets his weird stuff out. I had a great meal once with him and Bret Easton Ellis, who
I love his books.
Such a great author,
American Psycho,
etc. And Bret says to Irvine, I read a story of yours about a guy who is seeing a woman and the sex is always a bit weird, and then she dies and he goes to the funeral and finds out it was a guy, like a semi-operated trans.
Okay.
Where would you get an idea for a story like that from? Yeah. And without missing a beat, Irvine goes, it happened to me. And you're like,
okay.
Nice, brutal honesty, I mean, the guy's amazing.
I mean, I don't know who has got the more twisted mind, Bret Easton Ellis or Irvine Welsh.
The funny thing is, I mean, I've talked about this with Irvine. It was a spectacular lunch, dinner actually in Dublin, because Irvine had a very long day before the dinner, and Bret Easton Ellis was very very sober.
Yeah.
But they have now become best mates.
Yeah.
And they've done scripts together and all sorts of things. And they couldn't be more different in some ways.
Yeah.
Bret is like, preppy and urbane. And Irvine is much quieter now, but in the 90s,
but I thought
he was as bad as all of us.
See, I thought he was really quiet.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. And I thought, oh my God, this man could not be far removed from the characters that he's writing about. And he was so lovely and very, very sweet. But I mean, I think maybe it was the circus around us was probably a bit much.
Yeah.
And I think we might have been used to it by then.
Well, he was another one. He's a writer. He's used to spending. I'm a novel writer. Days at the computer. You're not months, years. You're not perhaps used to all this stuff. I think we were all shyer though, right? Because we were all in our 20s. I think he was in his early 30s. I mean, when I first met you, you were a little bit shy, probably because you thought he was this bumbling moron who's come to interview me with his Abbey National card.
I was just probably a bit more reserved.
Yes.
I think, but as I got to know you, Martin, I thought you were lovely, and I was like, Michelle, for God's sake.
You and Michelle, we've been on tour together.
But I have to say, when Trainspotting came out, there was a really famous poster for Trainspotting.
Yes.
and with Begsy and all the characters and da-da-da-da-da. And then, I'm not kidding you, it must have been 5 years later, I met a window cleaner.
Right.
And he goes to me, oh, God, your poster was in every boy's room. Every house I went to, your poster was in the, it was like on the wall.
Yeah.
Right. And I was going, what poster was it? And he went, you know, the train spotting one. And I was going, me?
You're not on that.
No, but there was a bird spotting one. And there was me, Joe Guest, and 3 other girls. And I obviously never got paid for it. I wasn't aware of it. And because
who did that? Not us. Not
no. Someone else
did a
obviously
parody
made
train
it.
spotting.
With me,
Cheeky
Joe Guest,
buggers,
and
and your
and I
image.
didn't even know about it.
God.
I don't know where you could get it from because I don't think Athena posters were still going then. So God knows where they bought it, and I knew nothing about it. But he said it was everywhere. It's actually quite nice. I've seen it since.
Have you seen it? It's nice.
Yes, all right.
I mean, that's an amazing thought, right? I mean, you were on bedroom walls, like
Everywhere.
the loaded pull-out posters and that poster just everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, you parlayed your career because we're starting on page 3 and then I went to GQ with James Brown and our job was to shake up GQ a bit. And we were talking about what can we put on the back page of the magazine. And I said to James, well, why don't we get Kathy as sex columnist? And you were the sex columnist for GQ for like a year, I think, at least, right?
Yeah, for a year. And then James left.
Yes, I suppose. And then Dylan Jones came in.
Yes. And then
it could not be more different from Dylan's view of the magazines.
I mean, chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
But James offered me the job. He took me to Nobu and offered me the job. And because I'd given him advice on something. And he said...
Pray tell.
Well... That's probably James's story, and it's probably not true because you know James. But he said I gave him advice about someone, yes, and he said your advice, your words were ringing in my ears, and I knew you were right. He said, and I should have taken your advice, and I said I wish you had. I was actually being I was being very nice about somebody trying to probably protect them.
Right.
Rather than James.
I think we're straying into legal territory now.
That's why I'm being
And also
careful.
I do want to get James on the podcast.
Yeah. So I gave him advice.
Yes.
And he said he wished that he had listened. And then he offered me the job as this columnist.
Well, then in that case, he'll completely disagree with him. I'm sure it wasn't my idea. It probably was his idea.
No, but he probably thought it probably was your idea, and he thought, yeah, well, actually, you've got a point because da-da-da-da-da.
And it went very well because, I mean, for me, it was a very unusual assignment. So great for you because you were paid to be the GQ sex columnist.
Yeah.
I hope quite well because it was Condé Nast.
Yeah, no.
And I wrote it. So,
well, I came up with the ideas.
Yes. No, absolutely. You know, we used to go for lunch once a month in a hotel usually. Funny thing is,
You used to pay then.
By then I had a Condé Nast credit card. That was the difference between GQ and Loaded magazine. No more pints, bottles of champagne. Absolutely.
Yes, please.
And an unlimited credit card. It was fantastic.
Lovely.
And we used to have lunch and just, you'd come up with and we'd talk. And it was very good because you'd explain women very well to men, I think. You know, even then, in 1998, it was still very different from now. You know, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Men and women were a bit more, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or whatever that expression was. Men needed help to understand about sex, relationships, and so on.
And you couldn't go online then to ask for advice.
Exactly.
So unless you had like a big sister or a mum or, you know, a close girlfriend to ask advice about girls, you were basically lost and relying on your mates who probably were not the best. Yeah.
Because lots of blokes then, like, you know, even sort of, you know, I would have been 30, 31 or something, it was still kind of a little bit around women, you know? It's kind of funny looking back.
It's changed now, but then it really was like two different species.
Yes, that's right. And because it's pre-apps and everything, they'd only meet, in bars or whatever. And it would be, people would literally say to guys, remember there was all that stuff, hookup lines for guys, and like there was that whole thing in California, it was sort of culty type people telling you how to, neg women, and all this sort of nasty stuff was the way to, really kind of quite dark in a way. I think the 2000s, it went quite dark.
I agree. But in the 90s, I think everything was so organic, plus we didn't have mobile phones.
Yes.
So, I remember my friends writing like boys' numbers on their hands, and it wasn't mobile number. It was just. And if you kept that number, then great.
If you washed your hands,
did that.
You go, I met an amazing girl. I was like, oh fuck, I washed my hands. And of course, that would be the phone, a landline.
Yeah,
right?
it'd
so
be a
you'd
landline.
literally phone someone who seemed much older, and you'd get their dad.
Yeah. Oh, that happens all the time.
All the fucking time.
Yeah, but also we'd arranged to go out on like, I don't know, a Thursday or Friday night, and there was no, I'm bailing out, or, I'm running late, or whatever.
Yeah.
You were there, waiting for your mates, and you all turned up, and you had a good time.
No, if you didn't show, that's standing someone up completely, because there's no way of telling them.
Did anyone ever stand anyone up? I don't remember.
You just turned up. You just turned up.
You just turned up.
Yeah, it was a snivelling cold or whatever it might be.
Head hanging off. Doesn't matter. You were going to have a good time and feel much better.
So what did you think about that? So I suppose because your career spanned the 80s. So just for people who don't know, you were discovered in 86, is that correct?
86, yeah.
And tell me, what's the discovery story? How did Kathy Lloyd become an international superstar?
Okay, so I was actually discovered in a pub in Liverpool, but it was a really hot day, and I didn't drink. I used to drink Britvic Orange, and it was boiling hot, and I think Liverpool and Everton, there was a derby on, and it was in town, and Liverpool city centre, and it was packed. So I'd been shopping, it was really hot, and I said, should we go into this pub and just get a drink? So and I was I can't actually remember, maybe a friend. I was with someone else, but I don't know if it was like a boyfriend or a friend.
And you were like, what?
18?
18. Yeah.
So we'd gone to the bar, sat down, and a woman came over and said, excuse me, I hope you don't mind me interrupting.
Oh, wow.
But I'm with my husband, and he's a photographer, and we think you're lovely. Can I introduce you? She said, I didn't want him to come over and frighten you off. I'm his wife. I'm his wife. Here's his card. And then he came over and we said hello. So when I got home, I threw the card in the bin. I was not interested.
Because you thought it sounded dodgy.
That was not on my horizon. It was nothing that I'd never wanted to be a model. I'd never been interested. It never occurred to me. And I actually threw it in the bin, and my boyfriend found it. And he said he took it out of the bin because it was in his bedroom. Took it out of the bin and said, what's this?
Who's the guy's number?
No, well, it said photographer.
Oh, okay.
And he went, I think you should, meet this guy and see what happens. So I was like, I'm not sure. So he came with me. We did some pictures. He showed them to a model agency in Liverpool called Faces. It's not around anymore. And I got a phone call from them. And they said, come in and see us. And I went, okay. So she said, come in on Friday, and I didn't go. So I wasn't interested.
You were determined to throw away this opportunity the universe was giving you.
Yeah. Didn't want to go. I'm not interested. So anyway, got a phone call saying, why didn't you come? And he said, and I said, because I'm, busy, So they said, come back in on the next week, again, didn't turn up. So on the third time, they rang up and they went, who do you think you are? You're messing us about. Get yourself in here. And I thought, I'll go.
Wow.
So and that's how it happened. And so from being in this pub called the Beehive, which unfortunately last year has been redeveloped. Yeah. It had been there all this time until last year. To my first debut on Page 3 took 6 weeks.
Wow.
After me going, no, not interested, throwing away cards, not turning up. And it was almost like it was meant to be.
So many questions. But because I know from my incredible research that you were then in it 11 times in 8 weeks or something. You took that paper by storm. You won the Page 3 Girl of the Year that year, right? Or 3 years in a row or something like that?
Yeah. And also, I hadn't told my dad. So I'd gone to London to do the shoot with Beverly Goodway. Shit. And I said to my dad, I'm going to London to have my hair done, which I did do.
That's such a teenage thing. I was telling the truth.
I was telling the truth.
Getting my head down.
And I omitted.
I was also being topless in a national newspaper.
So, and I thought to myself, there's no point in telling him because it's never going to happen. It's not going to make it. Right. So anyway, so I went up on the Wednesday and thought, shall I mention it? No, it's not going to happen. And then the next day I got a phone call saying, oh, can they have, they have like the little blurb.
Yeah, Kathy is.
Yeah. Can we, because it's going in the paper tomorrow. And I was like, what?
This is when the Sun sold 6 million copies a day. So, there's no way I'm going to keep this secret from my dad.
No.
So I had to go and have that conversation.
Yeah, that didn't go down very well.
Did it not?
Well, no, actually, because he was a very mild-mannered man. And I said, Dad, listen, I've got something to tell you. And he's like, okay, what is it? And I went, I'm going to be in the Sun tomorrow. And he went, okay.
In what way?
Yeah. And I was like, page 3. And he was like, right. He said, well, I don't know what you want me to say. And I went, I don't know what to say.
Wow.
I'm sorry. And he was like, well, let's see.
Because I know from interviewing you in the past that your dad or his best mate was a Communist Party member?
No, my best friend.
Your best friend?
My best friend, Jill Morris. Her dad, Ron Morris, was a councillor for Liverpool Council. And he ran for the Communist Party.
Wow.
So she was my best friend from the age of 4. And unfortunately, she passed away when the Loaded documentary was being filmed. So that was another reason why I didn't want to get involved, because I just wasn't in the right headspace.
Yeah, of course.
And so Jill Morris's dad, Ronnie Morris, I used to raise funds for the Red Star, which was a communist newspaper at the time.
I was a member of the Communist Party myself.
Were you?
My first job was on the Communist Party magazine, Marxism Today, in 1988.
Well done, comrade.
I mean, that people would not expect that about page 3 stunner.
No.
I remember you telling me you were a member of CND.
Yeah, I was.
So on all these things and being in the Sun, because also the other thing that people might forget is the Sun is a nice newspaper now, really, pretty much. Yeah. But in those days it was pretty, rabid.
Oh,
it was certainly anti-gay and definitely tones of racism. More stuff that you might. It's more extreme version of what you get in the Daily Mail today or something like that. Yeah. It's pretty full on.
I think because I was 18, I probably didn't, I wasn't aware of that. To me, just news was news. And obviously, as you grow older, you know where the tribes, who's voting, who's more leaning towards. And at the time, I didn't get that. But also, I didn't really talk to people about my relationship with and my connections with the Communist Party. But we did do Christmas fetes and things like that. And I ran a bookstore and I did the refreshment store, making teas and coffees and orange juices. You were
a celebrity instantly, right? I mean, so I just read that first interview again. I remember because at the time, if you said I'm interviewing Kathy Lloyd, there's no who, Everyone knew who I. There was a great line in it. I remember I said to you, "Do you get treated respectfully in the street?" And you said, "No one has ever shouted at me in the street, 'Get your tits out.'" And I was like, "That's fantastic." You said, apart from the other day, I was walking through Knightsbridge and someone shouted, "Kathy, get your breasts out."
Yeah, they did.
And you said, "That's Kensington for you. Get your breasts out."
Yeah, they did.
So because I think a lot of there's some lovely quotes about you. Barbara Ellen, great journalist.
Oh yeah,
and you went on holiday with for Loaded to Antigua.
Oh God, that was
crazy. I haven't got the quote with me, but she basically said that which is true, that the page 3 girl look at the time was not being rude about them, but it was quite tarty, cheap. That was kind of the look. And then suddenly you came along, and it was.
That's just not my look whatsoever.
She's a great line. She says something about, I can't remember, you were aristocratic and had a beauty that could have been painted by Andy Warhol. It's a lovely line.
What she said?
That's what she said in
I
Loaded.
love her.
Which is so, if you think of Sam Fox was the other big one at the time, for instance. It's a very different vibe.
It's a very different look. And I didn't know. The reason why I didn't tell my dad I'd gone to do the page 3 shoot was because I thought I do not fit in to this beauty standard of page 3.
Yeah.
I'm completely the opposite from that. And I am a very smiley character, but for pictures I didn't smile. So, and I didn't think that it was gonna work for me. I didn't think it was going to happen. But they liked Calvin Mackenzie, liked.
He was the editor at the time.
My look.
Yeah.
And that
and it
was
went crazy.
Yeah.
So you were like pastry girl of the year 3 years, I think. You were face of the year in the Daily Star.
Yeah, that was in 88.
88.
Yeah.
And I can say this because I used to have a column in the Daily Star. You're far too good for that newspaper. It's like makes the Sun look like the Daily Telegraph.
It was a bit like a comic, really, yeah.
And then the other big difference, of course, is that, and I'm not blowing smoke in the slightest, you know I'm not, that you're clever and funny. And I know that was, in those days, used to irritate you that people might assume that because you're a page 3 girl, you weren't. I remember you said in one of the interviews, they'd assume that you're not clever and that you're at it like a rabbit. And of course, you're just, you're lovely Kathy Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm just a nice, ordinary girl.
Yeah.
And I mean, lots of people think I'm very unapproachable. And even now, if someone's canvassing and giving leaflets out, right? No one's ever, and like the whole world will be walking past them and they're like this. No one ever hands me anything. Everyone's like, it's like, why? I don't understand it.
But you must get recognised in the street. Because I tell you how I know you do, because I had lunch with quite a famous journalist about a week ago. I was talking about my podcast and I mentioned you. Go, Kathy Lloyd, I saw her this morning on the King's Road.
What?
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
God, I was probably walking the dog and looked terrible. I might have been picking up dog poo at the time.
Picking up dog poo. He'd have said, because that'd have been too good. You won't believe what Kathy Lloyd's up to now. She collects dog shit.
I do.
But because you're so recognisable. And whenever I said to people, I'm doing this podcast, Kathy Lloyd.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. Oh, well,
and yet
I'm
you've
still
pulled
here.
back from the public eye pretty much, right? I mean, you did some TV and stuff in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a band, right? Tell me about the band. You're in the, do I say the LA's? Not
the
the L's.
LA.
The LA.
Yeah, it's mine and my husband's project.
Right.
And he works full time and he works in football and finance and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm a mum and dog picker off of poo and et cetera, et cetera. And it's, I love to write and I love music. And I found it very easy to write lyrics for the songs that he comes up with. He's brilliant with music.
Right.
And he self-taught himself to play the guitar, which is so difficult. And he's amazing. But it kind of started before COVID. And then, of course, during COVID, if you weren't making banana bread, you were doing something. And so we were focused on that. And it was brilliant. It was so much fun. So, but I don't have as much time, and neither does he, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But when we retire, we will.
When you retire?
Yeah. When like Lola grows up.
From parenting. Because Lola, your daughter, who is beautiful.
Yeah, she is. She's amazing.
13, 14?
She's going to be 15 in November, yeah.
So you've been like a full-time mum for 15 years.
Yeah, I have.
Which is great. And has that been I have a small kid myself as well as a big kid. It's cliche.
It's
the most
life-changing.
wonderful experience.
Yeah,
it's life-changing.
And it is. And it's the best job in the world.
Yes.
And I threw myself into motherhood because I'd been trying for a baby for a long time and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So when eventually she came along, that was it. And that's not the sole reason, but my focus was her and our family life. And then when she joined, she was in, I didn't want her to go to nursery till the last minute, till she was like 3, because I wanted her with me the whole time. And I only recently stopped walking her to school, but she only like last year. So when she joined her junior school, I was on the PTA for 5 years. And if someone had said to me in the 90s, guess what? You're going to be a mum, be on the PTA, and then be on the foundation committee for the entire school, which is a junior and senior school, I would have said, you're crazy, you're insane, stop drinking and stop popping pills. But and it happened.
I just want to see the fly on the wall documentary about Kathy Lloyd, PTA school governor.
I raised a lot of money. I was good.
I bet you were. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen, it's just so wonderful to see you looking so happy. I can tell that Lola and your wonderful marriage has been a huge thing for you. And it's just really great to see you absolutely blossoming and so happy in your own skin.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
As amazing as the 90s were, I'm happier now than I've ever been.
Do you know what? Because I had that cliched question, which was your favourite decade?
Oh, the 90s.
The 90s.
Oh,
Perfect.
without question of a doubt. I like the 80s, but my hair was awful. And then the 90s, we were all free. We were all like reckless and having the best time ever. And we didn't have social media or anything to hold us back. There was, you just...
100%.
You just went with the flow. And then the Y2K, is it?
I never know what to call it. The ooze, the 2000s, them.
Yeah. That was good fun. The beginning.
I thought, I always think of that. The 90s was like the 60s. Like just free, everything was great. Then the 2000s was a bit like the 70s. It kind of got a bit bloated. It's all the Eagles on tour, Russell Brand, it all got very cokey.
Yeah.
Not like the 90s wasn't, but
well,
you know
it
what
was
I mean?
a bit, wasn't it?
Just a tiny bit. Not you. I mean, as I said, on tour with you, never saw any of that. No, everyone else. But then you're the happiest you've ever been now, which is the perfect answer.
Yeah, life's good.
Good place to end. Thank you so much. It's so lovely to see you.
Thank you, Martin. And you look brilliant.
Oh.
And I don't need to iron your shirt. It's really nice.
Iron free, self-ironing. I learned after that night. I don't always have Kathy Lloyd to be my valet.
Good old Marks and Spencer's.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone. See you next time with more amazing characters from the 90s and more stories of the decade that forgot to say no. Cheers. Bye-bye.